Thank you so much, V, for this great opportunity, Kutala. Greetings to all the listeners. My name is Tembokuhle Makaliza. Born in a small town, Edutwa. It's called Edutwa. I'm 24 years old, and I'm a growing gospel artist. And I'm also a teacher, as you had highlighted in my bio.
Yeah.
But V, I think basically I can't do that I can say about myself more than I feel like I'm just an ordinary girl with just a dream.
Guys,
a girl who believes that her dreams are valid regardless of where she comes from. Yeah, well, that is basically who I am. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. All this at 24, Tembi. All this, I'm like, you're going on, and I'm still stuck there. But what? 24, and all this has happened.
Yeah. Luckily, I went to school. I started school at a very young age. Our parents are teachers, and because they didn't have only they would take you to school at an early age. So I went to grade 1. I think I was 5 years old. And then I matriculated at the age of 16, and then went to study my degree. However, there's always something that I want to share, because I finished my degree 2 years later than the time which I was supposed to finish it. So it was a 4-year degree, and I finished after 6 years. And I think even then, I remember I was excited, graduating, as a young person at the age of 21 and everything. And okay, now I don't want to get carried away, but let me just finish this, right? Okay, so then when I failed and I realized that I had extra 2 years, it was such a bomb for me. But I really believe that there's a lot that God wanted to teach me at that time. So he had to delay. Yes, I'm young. Yes, I am young. But I think the point that I'm trying to highlight here is that we all have setbacks in life,
regardless,
one way or the other. But everything always works out for our good, because I always believe that had I not failed at the time, had I graduated earlier, a lot maybe would have gone wrong in my life. I was still immature to go to the workplace and everything like that. So I am young, but I've had my own fair share of setbacks and everything.
Yeah, man. And I think all of us with our journey, when Tembi, as you say, we all have easy into that we thought was setbacks, but there comes a time where it all makes sense, and there comes a time where we get to understand that some things were necessary for our growth, because I do believe also that success is actually a result of failure. We have to go through those things in order for us to also grow in our resilience.
yes resilience.
So before we take a musical break, I just want you to speak a little bit about just how you started, because as I said before, that as long as I have known you, you have always been singing. You have always, I remember you used to bless us with those beautiful solos at a call umepaya and just do your thing fearlessly even then. But what was your aha moment? So when when did you actually realize, bana, what, as much as bana, I know I'm gifted in this and I have many other gifts as well, but this is what I want to do. This is what I'm actually going to focus on, because this is what you're doing right now. You're working towards your music career while you're teaching.
Okay. I started realizing that I could sing at the age of 10, right?
Okay.
I grew up in a family that loves music. So my siblings can also sing, my parents can also sing. But we would come together and sing during devotions, before we go to sleep, those family traditions and everything. But at the age of 10, I then realized that I had, more interest in this singing thing, more than my siblings.
Wow.
And I remember when I remember when I was in primary grade 6. Grade 6. That is when I was 10 years old. I was a very, lonely person, I would say, very shy, very quiet. And the only thing that I would, sit in my corner and do was just sing. And I never really went out to people and told them I could sing. But I remember this one girl who heard me singing. I was all alone. Just sitting there at school, and then she heard me singing, and then she went to report to the teachers that I could sing. And then and then my teacher came.
Nice one. We need more of those girls.
My teacher didn't even know my name. Mark that. That's just how invisible.
Wow.
Because I was one of those people that sat, at the back of the class, never saying a word or anything.
Didn't talk very much.
So she took me. Yeah, she took me and she said, "Sing." And then I sang. And I realized that when I'm asked to sing, I don't hesitate. It's not something that is very
you don't
difficult
struggle
for me
with
to
it.
do. Yes, and I don't become scared or afraid. I just do it, And then I remember we then entered the singing competition in grade 6, and I had to sing in front of more than 100 people at B show. That time I'm 10 years old in grade 6. And I was so fearless. I was not afraid. I was so courageous. I saw this other side of me that I didn't even know existed. So I went on and I continued singing, as you would know, from high school and everything, and then even in varsity, I continued singing. But then I think my turning point was in 2015 when I got born again, right? When I got born again, because I remember the sermon that made me give my life to Christ. The person who was preaching said that God, he preached on this word that says that I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So he said that there's a purpose for each one of us. There's this specific thing that God has called us for. That one thing that nobody else can do but you.
Exactly.
And then I had to ask myself, what is my purpose? What is that one thing, that I don't have to be begged for? When I have to do it, what is that one thing that I don't feel strained when I have to do it? What is that one thing that brings peace to my
naturally.
soul? That comes naturally. And I realized it's music. And then not just music, but gospel music. Because if you remember, even in at school, I used to sing gospel. So that's when I joined the worship team. And then in my journey of serving at church, I realized that, there's more to this ministry than just church. It's not only meant to be confined in church walls, but I could be the church outside. I could bless people with my voice on the outside, on social media. So that's when I just decided, you know what, let me pursue this, because I now know that this is this one thing that God has called me for. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back from the musical break, Tembi, I want us to talk a little bit more, about just, the internal work that, that translates that realization into practicality today. Because I know that, in our journey, sometimes we may know very well exactly what it is that we're supposed to do. But, it's always a challenge sometimes for some, to actually get to that point where, they align their character to that gift. And when we come back, I want us to speak a bit more about that, okay? We're going to take a musical break. I'm going to play you guys a song, 80 Graves into Gardens, by Elevation Worship. And right when we come back, we're going to be continuing with our conversation with Utembi. So do make sure that you do hit us up on 063-698-7566. That is 063-698-7566. That's if you have any comments, any questions, and you'd love to engage with us. Maybe just her personally, and you'd just like to send your message of support and love to her. You're welcome to do that. We're only taking WhatsApp texts and SMSs, and you can only send a VN that is a 1 minute long VN. So do make sure that you send through those voice notes that are not longer than a minute. Right after the break, we're going to continue with our conversation. Radio 537. At just 16 minutes after 4 o'clock, man, beautiful music there by Elevation Worship, Graves into Gardens. I love it when they say he is the only one that can. Indeed, he is the only one that can. We are still with Tembokuhle Makaliza on air, guys, and we're still taking your messages on 063-698-7566, 063-698-7566. And if you've just joined us, man, welcome to Radio 537. You are tuning in to Eminence, your piece of rising ground with Uvuyelwethu Sabane. And today, I did promise you guys that I will be hanging out with a special lady, an upcoming gospel artist, an old friend, and an awesome person in general. And we're having, that important conversation, just about, how one goes about, finding the way to purpose, to passion, to gifting, and just, placing all that in industry, and also just learning to steward over that. So I do want to make sure that you guys do stick around and do actually send us those questions if you have, and all those comments, and all kinds of engagement is accepted. If you want to know, probably based on the information and with the things we're talking about, there's something that you'd like to know, and you have something that you just want to have a comment on, you are free to do that on our WhatsApp line. Tembi, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so like as I said right before the break, Bana, you speak so much, so well, about your journey and starting out, and my follow up for you is the internal work, sis, the alignment of your character to your gift. Because we can't shy away when Tembi, from the fact that we have really, watched and seen, artists, not merely just gospel artists, but different kinds of artists, who are very gifted and very talented, but along the way, umdu kind of, just loses themselves because they didn't, take time to actually invest in their character and realize that a gift alone can't sustain you. I want you to speak a little bit about that in your experience.
Okay, sis. So from a very young age, I was taught humility, that when you humble yourself, God will lift you up, and I think for me that is the main principle that I live by, that I need to be humble in everything that I do, because being humble is very broad, because when you are humble, you are open to learn. You have a teachable spirit, because you understand that you don't know everything, and you understand that you have not arrived, and so there are people that have gone before you, there are people that have experienced more than you, so you need to be able to learn from those people and not be big-headed. And even when you achieve certain, or when you get to certain levels, don't ever think that you have arrived. Still continue to humble yourself, and God will just lift you up. You mentioned something that is very important, about people losing themselves in the industry, and I think, Vuyo, that is because of the fact that we are so hungry these days for fame. We all want to get to the top, and we forget that before we can get to the top, we serve our way to the top, and so there are no shortcuts.
Exactly.
So you must be willing to stay in certain levels for quite some time, until God has really worked on your character, until you have learned certain things, so that when you are at the top, you know exactly how to stay there. So that thing of, again, being hungry for fame is what causes people to compromise themselves. You know that you are not this kind of a person. For example, I know that I'm a gospel artist, and that's it. I do gospel. I don't. It's not
because
a thing
that's
of
what
just,
defines you.
That's that is what defines me. And so when other opportunities come, they do come, and I mean, financially, I mean, these would be very paying opportunities and stuff like that. But then I always remind myself of the fact that what is my calling? What is my purpose? I always have to go back and check, is this thing aligned with my purpose? Is this thing aligned with what God wants me to do? So it gets to a point for me where it's not just about what I want to do. It's not just about what I feel like doing, but it's about the specific assignment that I've been given, and the fact that I need to see to it that I stick to my lane until I fulfill that which I've been given.
Absolutely.
So when you know that it's not up to you, there's God who has given you this assignment. It's like being given assignment in class. You know that you need to stick to the rules. When a teacher gives you an assignment, you can't just go do your own thing. If they give you an essay topic, you have to stick to that. You can't just go and choose
do your own
something
thing.
else. It doesn't matter how interesting other things may be, but you need to stick to this one because you are called.
Exactly.
And so that is, I think,
Wow, man, that's absolutely beautiful. And another friend of mine said during some other day that he was here, he said, people who tune into Radio 537 should always make sure that they have their notes and they have their pens ready, because we have people that come onto the show, and you'll find that we are also learning and being refined in the process, and this is precisely why we do what we do. And you speak on something that is so important, that it's not just about the fame, and it's not just about doing it merely just for doing it, but it's also an important element of service that we need to have a grasp of. And I think that this is how pride attacks us on the way, because when we get achieving a little bit of things that we couldn't before, we start to forsake those things that we believed at first for the instant gratification that is provided by opportunities that also can be distractions, right? But I'm just so proud of your journey, man. And recently you were featured on Budbulelani Koyo's album. I'd like you to speak a little bit about that experience and how that came about.
Okay, so in 2018, remember I had started serving in church in 2015, and so in 2018 I decided, let me stretch myself a bit and just go out, and see what the music industry has for me on the outside, outside the walls of the church. And so I came across this poster for auditions. There were going to be auditions for a Nelson Mandela Bay Gospel Choir, right? So I decided, let me go there. For the first time in my life, I went to audition. And when I got there, there was like a lot of people. And I was so intimidated. Oh my God, thinking, this is a lot. I mean, why do I even have to put myself through this, Let me just go home
and trust God with my career.
Exactly. But something in me said that stay, opportunities are never going to just come to you. At some point you need to do the work, you need to wake up and do something and let God do the rest. But you can't just sit in your bed and think that
put in the work.
Exactly. So I went for auditions. They were difficult, very challenging, but I pulled through. And then then the choir was formed, and then then Pudbulelani was the how do I call it? The conductor. The conductor for that choir.
Wow.
So then in me singing in the choir, I think there was about 30 of us. So in me singing in the choir, he gave me this song, that Tula Moya Wam song. He had not released it yet, but there was another song that I was going to do. Then he said, man, I think it would sound nice if you would add the song that you're going to do with this one. So when I asked who sings the song, he says, no, this is a song that I have not even recorded yet, but I'm going to let you perform it. That on its own was an honor for me. I mean, when an artist writes a song, they don't want it to get out there before they can actually record it, because it might be stolen and everything like that. But he allowed me to perform the song before he recorded it. And then he said to me that I'm not saying that I'm going to feature you. It's not final, but I'm just going to allow you to sing it, right? So I did. And on the day of the show, I remember I left the stage, I went backstage, and then he took the microphone and announced publicly before everyone that he was going to feature me on the song, that he was making it official, you know, and the fact that he was announcing it before people is so that he could be accountable, so he can make sure that he doesn't change his mind or whatever. It was such an honor
amazing.
for me. I was really, really humbled.
That is amazing.
And so we went then to record the song. And even that, I think that was the very first time I was in the studio. And it was such a stretching experience. It was not easy. It took me straight out of my comfort zone. And, you know, from being that little girl that I was, I had to quickly grow. I think that whole experience, you know, opened my eyes in terms of the amount of work that needs to be put in. That if I want to be this artist, there's a lot. Because when I was watching him doing all that he was doing, going to studio, you know, the money that he spent, the sacrifice, the sleepless nights, I was like, God, am I ready for this?
The work,
So it was, the work. So I realized that it's not just about, you know, the glitz and glamour that we see when people perform that, but before that, there's a lot of hard work that is being put, you know. And so if I want to commit myself to this journey, I need to make sure that I am disciplined, you know, I'm ready to work hard, I'm ready to sacrifice, and that's the only way. Otherwise,
wow. That is beautiful, man. And you know, and it just, you know, it just goes to show, Bana, you know, with every opportunity, you know, we have the responsibility to steward over it, to steward well for every opportunity that we get, you know, because that's how we grow, that's how we get to the next and the next level, you know. And sometimes when we are in the moment where we're given an opportunity, you know, we don't take, you know, we don't take the full responsibility of stewardship, you know. And then we get frustrated because we wonder about kutheni izinto zingadibane, you know. Kanti it's a matter of bana, we need to sacrifice, we need to put in the work, you know, and we need to be also always in that spirit of service. And you know, it's beautiful even to just pick that up, you know, bana, this actually came through a point where you had to actually put yourself out there and be vulnerable, you know, and go and audition and do something that you've never done before, Gandhi, you know. It's going to open this kind of a door for you. And for me, you know, it leads me to the next thing that I'd like us to speak about before we take our final break and close it off. But I'd like you to speak, you know, on just the principles that you've learned. I mean, you're still growing, you're still on your journey, you know, and you are getting more and more exposure even with the work that you're doing, you know. But like I'd like you to speak about, but thus far, you know, what are some of the challenges that you faced and what kind of principles, you know, have you learned from them?
Okay. So I think that the major principle, again, I'm going to go back to something that I mentioned previously. Humility, you know, humility in your journey. It is very important. It is very, very important. Working hard, being disciplined, you know, managing your time well, you know, because I'm also a teacher, so
balancing all that.
It's very, very difficult, but it comes with sacrifice as well, you know. Sacrifice, the fact that I know that after school I have to go and rehearse, and then I'm gonna go home later on, and then the next morning I'm at work again, so it requires a lot of sacrifice. But I think besides all of that, the working hard, the discipline, and everything else, the major challenge that I have faced, that I'm facing, it is, you know, being presented with opportunities that would cause me to like compromise myself, you know, opportunities that require me to compromise who I am. The opportunities look good, they do look good, but it gets to a point where you have to uyijonge into from all angles,
exactly,
and not be, and not get excited. And fortunately for me, I'm a person who doesn't easily get excited. I'm very chilled. You never really tell when I'm excited or when I'm not. And I think that works in my favor because I'm able to take my time before I can actually agree to anything. But at some point I have found myself in spaces where I'm like, oh my God, I almost fell here. I almost made a mistake. I shouldn't have said yes to that. I shouldn't have said yes to that because I was then channeled in a different direction, kind of a thing. So that is a major opportunity. You need not to chase after fame, but kwazi ukuzinqanda and say, even though this looks good, even though this looks like my big break, but it's actually not. It's something temporal. So kwazi ukuyijongisisa and be able. I think another important thing is patience in your journey. You need to be patient and understand that good things take time. Good things take time. Don't be worried and feel like, no, I'm being denied of this dream. I'm being denied of this certain thing. But you must understand that at God's given time, He will make it happen. You will not have to lose yourself. You will not have to compromise yourself in order for you, to get into certain doors. So continue being yourself, and the doors that are meant for you are going to open, and they are going, when you get there, you're going to be so comfortable. You won't have to watch over your back because it will be God ordained. So I think that's the major challenge as young people, that it's quite difficult being a woman in the industry as well. You're being young and being a woman in the industry. I want to say that in all honesty, because I feel like the challenges that we face as women, it's not the same challenges that maybe men face. I understand that they do face their own challenges as well, but being a woman is a bit challenging. So it needs one to, stay rooted in who they are, stay rooted in the purpose that God has given them, and say no to whatever that is going to compromise who they are and what you believe in.
Wow. Absolutely well said. Tembi, when we come back from the break, because we are in the spirit of Women's Month, and I've been saying on air for the longest time now that, as much as we are, celebrating women this month, but I think we also need to be to open to the idea of remembering what a woman really means, and I think that this definition of a woman, is what has caused, so many wrong stereotypes and wrong perceptions, in people, and that's why we have these difficulties and challenges in professional spaces, even as women. And when we come back from your song, because I want to play the song with you and Ubulelani Koy, so that people can also go and check it out as well. And when we come back from there, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, and then we're going to close it off, okay?
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Are you tuned in right now? Let us know by sending us a message via our WhatsApp line to 063 698 7566.
Wow, man. Beautiful, beautiful song. That is Ubulelani Koy featuring Tembokuhle Makaliza with Thula Moya Wam. That is the epitome of what it means when they say opportunity meets preparation. Preparation meets opportunity, and this is the story of Tembokuhle Makaliza, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us up until now. Thank you so much to everyone, man, who has just been with us from 3 o'clock up until now. I know that many of you have been anticipating a lot about this interview, and yes, man, you are on Radio 537 and the conversation continues. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, thank you so much. That is a beautiful, beautiful song, and I must say that you did an amazing job there. I mean,
thank you so much.
There is nothing about you that says upcoming artist. You are just an artist in your own right. You should stop calling yourself upcoming. Amen. Just call yourself an artist once. Because how do you do that, man? How do you just come through with an artist that has long been established, and you're just on your way and you deliver so well? That is beautiful. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I love your story, because I know that many can learn from it, because there's not only just the spirituality and the gifting going together, but it also shows that there's an amount of work that we need to put in order for us to be ready when these kinds of opportunities come. And just before that, we were speaking about the difficulty of being a female in the industry. And I think that we also, as we're closing it off, that it's important that we also, as females, just always be in that spirit of taking the time to actually work on ourselves, so that when those challenges come, i-professionalism yakho ingabikho questioned at all. Ibegandi, you are actually presenting yourself the way that you want to be perceived, and this is something that I think that we can all learn from. But because of time, I'm going to have to close it off, so I'm just going to give you an opportunity to say goodbye to the listeners and tell people what you're currently working on and where they can find you and just access some of your music.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ndabulela kakhulu. This was a great interview. I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm really humbled. I'm really humbled. I don't take any opportunity lightly. I don't take this platform lightly. So what was I supposed to say, Ganem?
You were supposed to, tell people exactly.
So I'm currently working on releasing my first single. It's work in progress, but I'm not gonna, mention time frame or anything. But let me just say it's work in progress. But currently, what I do mostly is the release videos from time to time, and I post them on my social media. So I'm on Facebook, it's Tembokuhle Makaliza Music. On Instagram, it's Tembokuhle_Makaliza. And then I have a YouTube channel as well. It's Tembokuhle Makaliza. So that's basically where I post my videos. I sit in my, in my house and I just record. I pour out my heart, and I always hope that, one person or even two people will be moved and will find strength and hope, from the videos that I post. So yeah. Well, otherwise, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming through, man. We really appreciate you, and we wish you all the best, in your journey as you continue. May you never ever stop, and may you forever ever see everything for what it really is. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully, when that single is out, you'll be back to tell us all about it.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, guess it's going to go.
All right then. All right. Thank you.